And Quazim, you can go ahead and kick us off.
Hey, coach. So you've talked about, at length about how hard it is to win on the road in this league and to go get that third seed that you guys can clinch tomorrow. You're going to have to do it for the first time in 4 months. What's kind of been the messaging about, traveling just about as far as you can in this league to Orlando and trying to get that result tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't spoke too much about that. The internationals who were playing for their countries actually flew straight here. A couple of staff members, including myself, came out a day early to be with them for a day while the team travelled. So we've done everything possible to prepare ourselves for the game as best we can. And, obviously coming to Orlando in different times of the year, the heat, the weather can be a bit of something we have to acclimatise to when in Seattle. But touch wood, the last 2 days of weather has been fantastic in relation to normal proceedings here in Orlando. So I hope that stays for tomorrow. But we're really excited. I think there's no more motivation really than if we win, it's in our hands and we can get back on a plane and go home and be able to have a home playoff. And that's the most motivation I think any of us needed when we knew that was possibility.
All right, and then we'll go over to Susie.
You mentioned the internationals, and I'm just wondering for you all, this was another break where you got 12 call-ups, and what does that mean for you in training, and how has the team been able to adjust and just integrate those players? You mentioned coming out a day earlier, but adjust and integrate them back in.
Yeah, I mean, it was great actually back home. FIFA breaks give you an opportunity to reflect and give you like a breather to be able to think about the what next. And I think for every single one of us, like mentally, physically, emotionally, those 12 weeks of no break were a grind. So just to take a minute, take a breath, be thankful that we achieved one of our goals, which was to get into the playoffs. With one game to spare was really nice. And then when we got back into training, we obviously had a few players that normally would be away with international, Sam Meza, Sally Menti, to name two, who were stayed behind because of little injuries that they had. And Coco Mondesir didn't leave until Saturday. So we actually had a pretty good group for the first part of the FIFA break. And then we were able to get a game in against a boys team this week in preparation before we left Seattle. So, yeah, I think we've done a good job in the circumstances to be prepared and being able to come out a day early and be able to sit with the internationals and, go through the game plan stuff, do a training session, get their legs back under them after obviously transatlantic travel was great. And then we had our first full team training session today on the field, which was great.
Thanks, Susie. And then we'll go over to Charles.
Hey, Laura. I don't know if you saw it, but you talking about ChatGPT kind of blew up. I just wanted to, get more of your thoughts on that because there was a bit of a action. So I'm just curious about everything, with.
I lost you, Charles. Sorry, I didn't. You went in and out a little bit at the end there.
All right, Climate Pledge is not doing me any favors. Just curious about that because there was a bit of a reaction just with everything that comes with ChatGPT, So just, I don't know if it was that something that was blown out of proportion or what. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
I think, in my opinion, it was blown out of proportion a little bit. I think for clarity and context, we're a club and a team that we are always trying to do everything possible to be innovative and be curious. And I was literally sat in the off season bored one day at home and wrote one thing in one time, and I've never done it again, and probably won't for a while now. But I think, yeah, it's obviously something that is in our world nowadays, I think, with life. But does it replace, the expertise of coaching staff and the expertise of analysts and all the work that we do every day to try and prepare ourselves as best we can to go and play a soccer game? No, absolutely not. But I think the big thing about women's football is we're always trying to be innovative. whether it be Michelle Kang's company on working on, I can't remember what the name of it is, but working on the, women's health and trying to support our athletes as best we possibly can. We use a lot of technology in how we analyze things, whether it be data performance, whether it be video analytics, whatever it might be, to best prepare ourselves to be able to put the best product on the field that we possibly can. And I'm proud to be part of an organization that's always thinking outside the box. This was what I said was not an example of that, because it was me sat on my sofa on my own. And in context of what I said, I'd never played a back five in my whole coaching career, and I'd never really thought about it. And just by reading some articles, it made me think, oh, maybe it's something I should really look into. And could we as a team execute that? And that's where the work started, really, was to really delve deep into, was that something that we could do? And from some articles that I read, that other teams had thought about it, whether it be in the men's game or in the women's game. They played it in different ways. Obviously, Manchester United, pretty well known for playing it right now. And it set me on a journey to go and delve deeper. That literally was it. That was all it was. And yeah, the blow up and I've never gone viral, so that's been an interesting few days for me. But yeah, obviously for me, I'm just conscious that I don't want to take away anything from our coaching staff and our analytics department and everyone that works so hard on trying to do the best we possibly can every week to put something on the field that our players and our staff and our club can be proud of. And yeah, like I said before, none of technology replaces human expertise. Our sport is about gut feeling. It's about going with instinct as much. It's about all the research and all the other stuff that we do behind the scenes. That no analytical database is ever going to be able to tell you those things around gut feeling and just the way that you feel about something. And me as a coach, I'm very much drawn into that. Anyone who knows me, actually, I'm very anti-data, pretty much. You guys say it all the time post-game, and I'm like, don't talk to me about certain data metrics. I'm not that interested in it. So for me to be the one that's actually blown up virally about something like that, I find quite amusing.
I wanted to get your thoughts on it because it feels like that was something that people took and ran with. I was like, let's talk to Laura about it. My second one, I just want to ask you about availability report. I know, with international, it's kind of tough, but particularly maybe like a Sally Mentee.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, with the news about Lynn, I imagine you likely won't have her for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, obviously really happy for Lynn. I don't think I've been able to talk about this publicly. Obviously, we're so happy for her and her family. And I'm glad now that I can talk to you all about it, which is great. And outside of Lynn, we're doing great. Sam's recovered great from the little niggle she had prior to camp. Sally Mentee's available. Jordan Heitmer, who wasn't available in the last game, is available. Anna's back with us, also available. So yeah, we're in a good place, health and fitness wise. Obviously, don't want to risk anything or anybody tomorrow. With playoffs so quickly around the corner, but we do want to go out there and try and put a performance on that can get us a home playoff, because that would be great for the club.
Thanks, Charles. And then we'll go back to Susie.
Yeah, I wanted to ask really quickly, Orlando is a team that seems to be coming into good form at the end of the season, and just what have you seen them be able to adjust around not having Vanda that's made them really threatening?
Yeah, I think they've just become even more what's the right phrase, like hardworking and like quite industrious. They're not like really, I mean, Marta adds a load of flair to their team, Avaya adds a lot of flair to their team, but I think they have to adapt to not having Banda. She's so unique, such a unique talent, that I'm sure it took them a little bit of time to work out what they were going to look like without her, and they seem to have worked that out over the last month or so and got some really good results. So we know we're in for a tough game. And, those two especially are standouts for me, just in regards to creating opportunities for them. Ali Watt, I think, had a really good year too, especially this past month. And again, they don't give up too much right now. They've gone back to that sort of hard to beat mentality. That's why I talk about the industriousness about them, where they don't give too much away to teams. They don't concede many goals, don't concede many opportunities. And obviously have had some great performances and some fantastic results of late. So we know that. We know we're going in for a tough game, but we also know what's at stake for us. And the thought of being able to get back on a plane and go back to Seattle and be able to have a home playoff, I'm not sure there's much more motivation than I need to do to get the players to want it. Right now, it's all about going and executing what we need to do tomorrow.
All right, and we'll go over to Charles.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, Laura. Tomorrow is a year ago from playing Orlando and
Yeah.
Maddie Mercado scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to ask you, we just had her on, just what you've seen from her growth wise, since that Maddie last year, obviously the loan and, bringing her back, I guess, early, what have you seen growth wise from Maddie Mercado, since that goal, a day from tomorrow, a year ago from.
I know, it's crazy that we're back here. I think we've played Orlando last game of the season 3 out of the last 4 years or something. Crazy. 1 was at home, was that right? Maddie's been very good all year for us, and we spoke in the summer about her going on loan, and at that time we obviously didn't know about Lynn, so it made total sense. And then when we knew about Lynn and what that meant for our team, it made total sense to bring Maddie back. Because the whole point of her going on loan was to try and get her more minutes than what we could get her right now, and to set her up for success come the start of next season, honestly. But with obviously Lynn's situation, it totally made sense to bring her back. And I thought she was excellent against Utah. Her ability to run in behind, her ability to hold the ball up. She has a good relationship with Mia. They played on the same youth team. I don't know if you guys knew that. And yeah, she just brings a little bit of a different dynamic to the other forwards that we have available to us. So I think the loan was perfect. She obviously smashed it, goals galore when she was out there, which wasn't a shock to any of us really, but really happy for her. So she came back really confident, in a really good place physically, and it's like she never left. It's like she just went on a little vacation for a couple of weeks and then came back. So yeah, really happy for her and really proud of her and the performances she's been putting on the field for us since she came back.
Thanks, Charles. All good, everyone?
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Laura.
Take care.